Okay, we'll try this quick sketch I've drawn of a fire piston, and if you do a search on YouTube you'll find quite a few examples of it being demonstrated. It's something you can buy, but I thought I'd whittle out some scrap and make something up as a small project. Quick description. We got a lump of, it's all mild steel, piece of 20mm scrap that I've got, and we'll finish up with about a 4.5 inch section, and that'll be bored out, probably bored out 4.25 inches, and reamed finally. And then the piston itself, which is just the end showing here, it's a piece of 3/8. It may or may not need an O-ring for seal, it depends how tight a tolerance we can finish up with. And then in the end of the 3/8 we've got a little pocket, which will be about 1/4 inch, maybe 1/4 inch deep, to take a small piece of char cloth. That basically is it. The other end of the piston eventually will have a small handle of some sort. It might be a piece of wooden dowel, might be a piece of steel. That's just a finishing aspect. So as you can see, there's not really much to it. So let's just show you the raw material. So with the usual bit of corrosion on my aged stock offcuts, piece of 20, and this piece is actually nearly 6 inches long. So that's going to be the body. We're going to bore down the middle, piece of 3/8 there. That'll be tidied up, polished up, and we'll put a little pocket in the bottom. And fortunately I've got a 3/8 reamer which we can use for finishing, so we'll bore that out just undersize and then ream it and hope for a good fit with the what will be the piston. We'll only put an O-ring groove in if it seems really necessary to get the extra seal. With a good tight tolerance fit, there should be enough sealing effect. And the object of the exercise, which I didn't actually mention just now, but from, let's just see if we've got that in frame. Yeah, it's good enough. The object of the exercise will be to put the piston inside the outer, probably by about 1 inch, and then with a very rapid impact on the end of the piston handle, shoot down to the end of the main body, and done really quickly. The air compression will be considerable and should raise the temperature well above that needed to cause combustion of a piece of char cloth. So we're going to try and just machine things up and see what we can come up with. Might even make this 5 inch actually. Better a bit too long than a bit short. I don't know how well the autofocus will cope on this. It's usually a bit problematic, we'll have to see. Anyway, we will just face off this end. This is a pretty rusty piece of material actually, but we're not working to critical dimensions except for the bore, so we'll just do a manual touch off, quick manual feed, and then we can put a center in it. Well, we'll try that. It's not running perfectly true. Let's just take another tiny cut. It's not too bad, I'm not too concerned with the finish on here. We just drop this one in just to get a little cut on the edge, just to get a little bit of rough out of the way. Yeah, right, that'll do that. Let's bring this back. And we'll just pop a centre drill in the tailstock here. Still not sure how much we can actually. Haven't really got a high enough angle. Let's change that. Okay, we'll just put the centre drill in here. Let's lock that up. Get a bit of oil. Went fairly deep there. It's going to give me a start for a small diameter drill when we come to bore it. I think what we'll do now is take the centre drill out, and just between centres we'll run a light cut on the outside of this just to make it a bit cleaner, because it's got quite a bit of corrosion. Either that, or I might just try a polish. Just taking a final little cut at the very end. It's actually almost there. I've got a Sharpie mark on here, and I've just got a fraction of a few turns to go. That wasn't very much, but anyway, there's no point in videoing the whole boring process, literally boring. I haven't got my airline set up, but that doesn't matter for now. So that's the that drill out of the way. Put that back, and then I've got a 9.4. Now this 9.4, I just had to put a 1 to 2 sleeve in for the Morse taper. This will leave me about 4.5 thou shy of 3/8. So we're going to go with this. In fact, it's going to have to, it's not even quite in frame, I don't think. I'm going to actually literally have to go up to the beginning of the number 1 Morse to get the 4 1/4. So anyway, we'll get that on the go. This one is cutting pretty freely. It's got a special tip ground on it, but it does do a fairly good job, so we'll just see if we can get that rolling. taking about 400 thou before I clear it. There we are. Just got to the shoulder on the beginning of the Morse, number 1 Morse, and I could feel the tip biting on the bottom of the original hole, so that's pretty good. We're in the same ballpark. I'm going to take that one out and let's just do a check. I should probably be getting in my own way here a little bit. Let's just check that bore. That's it's gone a little oversized. It's actually still got about just over 2.5 thou left, which should hopefully be okay for the reamer. So I'll get the reamer set up and we'll see if we can get far enough down. Right, we've got the reamer in place. On the live center, I've just made a very small start. So we're only moving about 3 thou total. This is acting as a stop on the compound. You can't quite see it, but that stops that turning. I can feed in from the tailstock, and I'm using my manual feed handle. And plenty of oil. We've got to go in a long way. Now I'm going to get in the way of an object here. Let's get that sorted out. Right, obstruction cleared. That was my oil drip pillar. So we can carry on and feed in a little bit more. Now we're biting again. I don't like doing this under power particularly, not when I've got the problems that I have here, because the I'm going in a very long way with this reamer. Now we're coming onto the plane section. I'll just do a measurement check here, just having checked before, but we're right up to the limit. 4 1/4 leaves me about 1/4 shy of full length. So pushing the limit on this standard length reamer. Let's just get oiled up for the final. I should be able to feel it anyway when it bottoms out. Just got to be careful getting this fed in again. It's always a little bit tricky just on that start. I'll probably go a little oversized on the very beginning of the reamed hole. There we are, just beginning to bite again there. Now here's the tailstock. Oops, here's the tailstock again. And just go that last bit until we bottom out. Just keep some support under this So a little tap wrench. I don't think it's going to go in any further. I don't think I've quite got my 4 1/4. Let's just check up to there. More like 4 inch. But just a quick check. That is that's definitely bottoming out. If I had an endoscope, I could look down the bottom of the hole. So anyway, that's as far as we can use the reamer, and we'll tailor the length of the piston and handle to suit the available volume inside, so that at the end of a piston stroke we have a very small space left for the air. That basically is how it's going to work. So we'll come back to this when I get some time, or get the other piece of 3/8 set up. I just tried the piston rod in here. It's a pretty good fit, but the seal is not quite good enough to get total reliable air compression. I'm just going to make a little mark here with the old Sharpie and see what that works out at. The reamer did bottom out, so it's actually nearly 4 1/8, so we'll have to work on that when we set up the handle, which will act as a stop. We've got to clean this piece up as well just a little bit and get this shortened down to the final length. I actually just cheated. I'm too lazy to put another tool in specially, because I haven't got one handy in the tool holders, so I just used the end of a file just to smooth that off so that it's lost its sharp edge. And now we'll turn this round and get it cut to length. Here's another of my cheats, like I did on the T-nut for the quick change tool post. I haven't got a decent parting tool at the moment, not without some regrinding, so the dimensions here are not critical, so I'm just going to, let me just turn this round a little bit. There we are. It's not very good, so I'm just going to hacksaw this off and face it. Tends to shake everything. This lathe is not mounted totally solid, and doing this makes my light wobble. Oops, we're nearly there. Oops, not the squarest of cuts, but I might take a moment to face that off. I will just face this off and finish it. I'll just touch off there. And let's get a little chamfer on here. I don't know what's showing and what isn't. That'll work. This is not the most critical of operations. Just facing off the end of this piece of 3/8. This 3-jaw isn't a terribly good one. It's very hard to get perfect centre. Incidentally, the general mess on the lathe, I should apologise for. It's long overdue. Swarf and chips everywhere. Anyway, we'll just face this off and get the corner cut, and then we'll put a little pocket in it. Just smooth that off. All we got to do now is just put a little hole in that. We'll pop a little drill or something in there. It's not very critical, just to get a small pocket. And then we'll have to make a groove for an O-ring. In fact, I think we'll do the O-ring groove whilst we've got a centre on there before I make the final pocket. Just get the centre drill in there. Number 2 would be quite adequate, or even a number 1, but that is going to be drilled a little bit anyway, so we'll put that on centre and we'll find a tool to cut an O-ring groove. No, good old Harbour Freight. Just looking through some O-rings here. The O-ring does not want to be basically any bigger than the 3/8, and I found one here and that is virtually spot on 3/8, and if we check the thickness, although they're marked up on the chart, is not that reliable. That would almost suit actually my rather poor parting tool, so I think we can use that and make a groove, make it a little bit deeper so that the O-ring can sink in a little bit. And we'll try that and hope it works. Right, slight change of plan. I should really have this 3/8 in a collet, because this old chuck doesn't really centre very well, but I've just put in a what size is it now? 732 end mill, and because the centre drill has been down there, I've got, although this is this mill hasn't got any centre relief, I can still get a plunge on it within the limits of the pre-existing hole from the centre drill. So we're just only going to go in about 100 thou. And then, once I got that, I can do the O-ring groove. I've got to be careful, the O-ring groove's behind the pocket. I think probably it's only got to be enough to hold a little fragment of char cloth. Let's see what I got. Yeah, exactly 100 thou. So the tailstock scale is working. I think that, oops, camera tripod's useless. So if we just check here and see Well, that pocket's not too bad because it's got the remains of the centre drill hole in it. I don't suppose we can get that on camera. Let's see. Yes, you can more or less see that, I think, with luck. Yes, you can see where the centre drill finished, and we've gone in 100 thou, so that's not too bad a little pocket. So providing I cut the O-ring groove beyond the 100 thou mark, we should be alright. I'm just going to measure that up again and make sure that we're in a safety zone. Just move the camera so you can see something, but I'm pointing out again that I'm going to lock the saddle and touch off on here and 0 on the cross slide, and then we'll see if we can get this tool to cut. This is pure laziness really. Seeing I get a result. $60. That's 65, which I'm hoping may be enough. Right, that was 65. Let's see where we go. I don't know where this O-ring will go on. I don't know whether you can see. Get my hand on the way. It's going to be a bit of a stretch. Getting it off will be another matter entirely. No, it cut is just a little bit too narrow, so we'll have to take the O-ring off again. I think I need probably another 5 thou. Another 5 thou. I may have to sacrifice this O-ring. Right, let's put the camera off a minute whilst I fiddle. I got the O-ring off. I think the depth will be alright, but we need the width relief so it can expand. So we're just going to take another hit and nominally just take another 5 thou off the back edge of that. $65. Right, let's see if this is enough width. The main thing is that an O-ring remains captive. Let's see if we can get it on. Ah, that looks better. I don't know whether you can actually see anything there. Well, you can see the black line, that's probably about all. Now the other thing here is to see if there's enough leeway to get it into the bore. Well, it seems alright. I'm going to have to play with it some more. I really want to take it out of the chuck to check it. I may have to find a slightly thicker O-ring. I think that will give a seal. Have to hope for the best and modify later if necessary. I'll put the piston in, steady the end. That looks pretty good. You can't really tell, can you? From there, if I hold that and let go, it comes out. So the trouble, before we get compression, I guess we're going we hear that little pop. And it's warmed the end up. The object of the exercise outdoors is to have this on the ground and whack the piston hard. Now the piston's now got to be cut down to length, put a handle on it. I think that'll have to be another day, but we've made some progress. Let me just see if I can get a close-up of this, of these pieces. Now then, here is the piston and the O-ring, and that O-ring is just proud of the surface. If it was too large you wouldn't get the damn piston in there. And there's the pocket, and here's the main body. That was just cut off with a hacksaw and faced to finish. The outside is just polished, it wasn't worth turning down. And I'm trying to get the focus to hold. And there's the 3/8 bore. It's got quite good compression. So I think we're getting progress there. We've got to, camera movement again. So we've got to cut down the piston and make some sort of handle, and then we're basically done. So we'll hopefully finish off maybe tomorrow. Actually, I haven't finished yet. I just thought I'd do a quick job. I just found a piece of 20mm which will do as a handle. It already had a small hole in it, not that that was dead on centre, but I'm just going in a little ways with the 3/8. No, it's a 9.5mm, slightly small, just to make a hole to take the piston rod. Depending on the depth I go, depends what I cut the rod down to, and then we'll fix it in. Might just be super glue. About 3/4, which I think will probably suffice. Let's check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Yeah, so that's about 3/4. That should be quite adequate. And if it doesn't, it should have drilled slightly oversized, I would think. If I get past this darn camera, it's probably come out a little oversized, and I can always put the reamer in if it's too tight. I'll take that back. Yeah, that's going to fit. Down and dirty. Absolutely down and dirty. This will be a super glue job. Either that, or I might even do a pin or a set screw or something. Let's just take the edge off this. That's all that's needed. Old school. If a file will do, a file will do. I'm pushing my luck here on the chuck. Not very much to hold it. So what we've got there is just this rough old piece of 20. That end's filthy. It's that's been hacksawed too. Me and my hacksaw. So we'll just chuck that up, clean it up, face that off. We might as well leave a largish handle. Let's see if this will remotely centre. Have to fiddle with this in a minute. Have to have 2 or 3 tries. We'll just take a couple of quick cuts to face this end off and then put a bit of chamfer on it. I just want to put a chamfer on there. I can't quite, I'm a bit close to the chuck to use that facing tool. So we'll use this one, and if I've got enough clearance everywhere, I've got too many things in the way. Alright, let's just get a chamfer on here. You may have heard that little bit of chatter. Pushing my luck really. Not really bothering to set up everything properly all the time. Pure laziness. As long as we get a result, just give this a quick lick of oily paper just to finish that end bit. I know a lot of people don't like doing that. It's very close to the chuck. And I've survived all these years without any major damage. Famous last words. Famous last words. Alright, so we are getting close to completion actually. You know what, I get stuck into a job and I don't want to stop. You gain a sort of vague momentum. Now, the camera's moving all over the place. Let's just see what we've got here. Okay, there's the handle. Pretty basic, probably bigger than I need, but you know, function is what I'm after really. There we are, you can see that's a 3/4 hole down there. Let's get the 3/8 bar cut. Sorry, 3/8 rod. Alright, I'm going to call this basically finished. That 3/8 was a little bit sloppy, but I'll use some CA on there, and the well, you can't see it now, there's a Sharpie mark from previous reference, and if we put the whole thing together, I press that in, and that last bit, see, I can just about close it. and it's that last bit of piston drive that actually generates the maximum temperature. I wish I had some char cloth. I haven't got round to making any, but I might find something else to test with before we actually complete the video. But anyway, there we are. I mean, it's what do we got? 3 components. Not very much, is it? But it makes something which hopefully will be useful. So we'll try and round this off when I get this handle fixed and see if there's some way to test it. Well, just a conclusion here, pretty well wrapped up before. The one thing I haven't got is any char cloth. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to make any. But anyway, here we are. I've got the handle bonded on. I left it quite large because it's a useful bit of weight. And I checked the inside bore. I checked the inside bore length on there, and comparing that with the, I got some crud on there, comparing that with the piston, we're actually just about 3/16 shy of the very end. I didn't want to take it too close to the bottom, but what happens is, if the, you won't see, I'm just going to whack this. Now there's a detectable hint of warmth in the bottom, but what we're looking for eventually is that the air pressure and the temperature increase will actually manage to ignite char cloth in the pocket. So I can't test that yet. Hopefully it'll work, the principle's correct, and hopefully, anyway, it was just a little piece of interest. If you've got some scrap material and you don't want to buy one of these, this one is a bit heavier than the bought ones. I suspect the bought one may be wood with a metal sleeve, I'm not sure, but I'll accept the weight. So there we go, just another gadget or gizmo, call it what you like. A little bit of engineering fun. Well, it didn't seem right to complete the video until I'd actually tested the darn thing. So I cooked up a bit of, I was going to say char cloth, it's actually, you can't see, it's actually just cotton balls. So there's a slight knack to using this. So I've got, this is even going to show, there's a little piece here, I'm going to put it into the pocket. It's only a very small piece. And put a little bit of padding on here so I can give it a good whack. It takes a bit of a knack and a bit of practice. There we are. Alright, this will show. There we are. I've just taken it out. Can you see that glowing? Just. There we are, that's that little piece. Let's try it again. So load it up again. I'll take my bit of padding. We just zoom back at just a fraction, you can see a bit more. So I'll get it just started. Nope, that wasn't enough. It's got to actually bottom out. There we are, that one took. If I take this out, you might be able to see it smouldering, I don't know. But of course the steel is a heat sink, so we've got to get the, try and get this out before it extinguishes. Oh dear. There we are, they're still glowing. just glowing inside the pocket. If I put it in the pocket a bit firmly, let's try and get that out of there. Here we are. There we are. There's my little beauty. So anyway, it seemed appropriate just to finish off to show the darn thing works. But there is a slight knack to it, getting the right strike, getting the speed right. You've got to get very rapid compression. And if it doesn't work one time, come out and take a full length stroke again. There we are, still a satisfying project, despite taking a little while.